Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Leap Is Live. Glad you kept us on your list of things to do. So excited to get in here a clinical social worker for AIDS Healthcare Foundation, David Contos. Welcome to Leap Is Live, man.
Thank you, sir.
Clinical social worker. Let's get right to that. What is a clinical social worker?
Licensed clinical social worker is somebody who has gone through master's level social work training. And on top of that, they've taken one of several exams for national exams for clinical social work. They've gone through supervision, additional training, and they are permitted by the government of the state that they practice in to diagnose and treat mental health disorders.
Wow, man. So you're one of the smart guys. Got that certification.
On a good day.
How long you been doing that?
I've been doing clinical social work for about 7 years.
Okay. And you've been with AIDS Healthcare Foundation for, I think it's 2 years?
Beginning of the year.
Okay. How you liking it so far?
It's a great team. It's a great family. They do a lot of good work.
Mm-hmm. When people think of AIDS Healthcare Foundation, AHF, we see it, they see it on my show. In fact, let's take a look at a commercial that we air on the show.
AHF is proud to provide HIV testing, care, and counseling to the Fort Myers community. For years, AHF has provided locals with a wide range of healthcare services regardless of their ability to pay. These services include convenient pharmacy access, compassionate case management, regular testing, and steady treatment. In addition to our healthcare center, our Fort Myers location offers free wellness services that provide routine STI testing, STI treatment, linkage to specialty HIV care, community referrals, and access to PrEP. Visit the AHF Fort Myers Healthcare Center and Wellness Center by calling 239-210-9980. We proudly provide Ryan White services.
When people, we just saw a wonderful commercial that kind of depicts what goes on, your wonderful facility. But what do you want? What should come to people's mind when they think of AIDS Healthcare Foundation?
A place that is a resource for the community in terms of the prevention and treatment of HIV/AIDS. Mm-hmm. We offer quite a few services, and some that actually are kind of new. So,
the whole process of treating now. That's really great because now you can treat people and they can live a full life, right?
It's a game changer. It was, HIV/AIDS in the past was, as you know, a death sentence, and it is no longer that way anymore. Unfortunately, not everyone has caught up to that concept, and so education and advocacy is a big part of what we do as well.
You said a lot of people haven't caught up to that concept. Is it as bad today as it was back in the day and people just relaxing now?
Well, like you're suggesting, there's both things going on. There's people who understand, well, we have these medication, we have these antiretroviral therapies, so I can do what I need to do. I don't really have to pay attention to it. But the problem with that is this is medication that needs to be taken on a daily, sometimes monthly basis, and people can fall off, and that causes problems. In the community, there's still a huge problem with stigma. Okay. And so there's a lot of avoidance as well.
What do you say makes you unique in this regard and in this fight, AIDS Healthcare Foundation? Would it be the fact that you are national, international, you have a lot of experience, you've been around, you have a lot of resources?
I can take up all your time talking about the uniqueness, but some of the things that catch my eye as a person who's coming into this organization is the fact that they started from the beginning, working with people who no one else wanted to work with, going into those gates of hell, people who were suffering and dying. It started off as AIDS Hospice Foundation. And once the medication caught up and it wasn't about just dying, it was about health care. They changed the name to AIDS Healthcare Foundation. So it's more holistic in that sense. We also realized that having the medication out there isn't enough. people need, there's a lot of barriers to people coming into their normal, regular doctor's office and treating successfully and over time with a chronic condition. There's transportation issues, there's housing issues, there's food issues. You know, people who can't eat aren't going to come in and get their medication. People who can't work, people who have no place to live, they're not going to get their medication. So AIDS Healthcare Foundation has adapted. They've seen the issues, they've been a leader in these issues, and they've adapted. They've added affordable housing initiatives all across the country. They've added, our location has a food pantry. Our location has clothing for people who need it. Our location has medical case management for people who aren't able, they're stuck and aren't able to do for themselves, in addition to basic medical care. And now we've added the mental health component at our location as well. That's something that's spreading out to the different locations, because we realize that there is no real health care without mental health care as well.
What are some of the barriers and challenges that you see as it relates to the increase or the decrease in getting information out?
There's lack of awareness. There's people who still don't know. There's lack of access. There's people who diagnose, but they have no way of accessing or affording treatment. And then I think the biggest one is stigma. Stigma fueled by ignorance. And that keeps people from accessing the care that is available and staying consistent with it.
How does mental health fit into all of this?
In terms of the stigma, it's huge. Because underneath this word stigma, which, as you know, comes from stigmata, mark, there's depression, there's shame, there's that psychological avoidance. And it's not just the patients, it's the community and the families who don't know any better. I'm working with somebody, I've worked with someone in the past whose family member had separate bowls and cups for them. So they come into the house, it's a family dinner, and they set aside a special place for them to sit, which is wiped down, separate bowls, separate cups. I mean, the impact that has on that person's sense of being, on their sense of individuality, on their hope and their freedom and their connection is significant, because it's coming from the family. A person like that is going to be far less likely to do the things they need to do for themselves because they don't have that support. So that's where therapy comes in and can make a huge impact.
So people should be encouraged to get therapy. Makes a big difference. Not to go through the whole process, but just give me a general idea of what kind of takes place in therapy.
Okay. So my belief is, and a belief as a social worker, is that people have a great capacity for the maintenance, the health and wellness of their lives. People are able to traverse so many traumas and bumps in life. Every once in a while, we run into a place where mentally, emotionally, we get stuck. And our own resources and the available resources aren't able to help us get through. And unfortunately, a lot of it's self-created and a lot of it's generational. It's both. A therapist is that outside person who can, through getting to know each other, through that relationship, can start being that mirror for that person, for them to get to that place where they're actually able to untangle the stuckness, essentially, and continue to heal.
How do people who want to get this type of assistance get that? When they come in to get an assessment from you, from the organization, all those things are covered and they get that opportunity right there on the spot?
Absolutely. We are implementing, because mental health is new for our clinic. When a new patient comes in, they're going to meet their medical provider. They're going to meet our medical staff, our pharmacy staff. We have a very active pharmacy here. They're going to get a visit with a case manager who's going to do an assessment, and they're going to meet me at some point. And I'm going to do what we call a biopsychosocial assessment. I don't know what I don't know, right? So I'm walking in here, I'm living life my own way. I don't necessarily know I'm depressed. People might tell me I'm feeling sad. People might tell me I'm acting out. But sometimes, because I know their stuff too, I'm going to just brush that aside. But having a stranger who comes in with a non-judgmental, caring attitude, and that's every member of my team. Like we genuinely care about the folks who walk through our door. I might be able to point out one or two things for them to think about, and they may want to sit down and work with me on a day-to-day basis. So that's the easiest way of accessing. You can always call our main number. You can always talk to your medical provider as well.
That's great to have an organization like AIDS Healthcare Foundation in our community. doing such great work to help people get on to a healthier lifestyle. The final question is, are we seeing any particular trends, any demographics, any particular people, the stereotypical, okay, this is a disease for certain races or ethnic groups or what have we, or sexual preferences? Is that still the go?
What I can tell you is that this disease, because of its mechanics and because of some of the social economic reality, it does affect certain populations disproportionately. We are seeing a rise, unfortunately, among our people of color.
Okay.
And some of those communities, in fact, have a built-in history and culture of really stigmatizing this disease and diseases like it. And so the folks who are, and that's why you have these numbers increasing when there is help available. So it's important to come on shows like this. It's important to get out in the community and start speaking truth against that. And it's important for people of color to stand up when they are ready, individuals, of course, and speak their truth, and for us to support them, because that's going to make that next person say, hey, maybe I should get tested. Hey, there's help available. I have hope again. Absolutely.
Well, people seeing your contact information on the screen, people who are listening to this on the radio, I want to make sure that we give that information verbally so they can hear it. What's a good number for them to call to start making sure that they know their status?
Absolutely. So a great number that they can call is 239-337-2391. Again, that's 239-337-2391.
And they can say that they heard you on the air and they want to get more information, they want to get involved.
Lee Pitts Live.
That's right. So remember, Miami may have the oranges, but AIDS Healthcare Foundation has got the
juice.
They got the juice. We'll see you.
Lee Pitts Live is a Lee Pitts Enterprise production.
Hello everybody, this is Lee. I'm so glad that you watched that particular show, and if you enjoyed that show, we got other shows like that. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch Lee Pitts Live on demand anytime, and also hit us up on all our social media platforms. Just type in Lee Pitts Live, and there you go.